rotate your phone. You can't turn your phone while recording.
Is it on?
Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, it's Jamie at Hen and Chick Studio. We might be having a little difficulty here, so if we're turning with you, then that's why. Is it, Heidi, is it going to be tall enough, or do you need to rotate
Nope,
it
it's actually still awesome. We're
Okay.
trying new technology again, everybody. We want to bring this to you in the best form possible. So give me a thumbs up, or that we've got Jamie and her guest sitting upright. So definitely let us know that.
Why don't you look on your phone and see? Okay, so we're going to start going here anyway, and we hope, let us know if you can see us and hear us. We're always trying new things, and we're always trying to get things out better. As you well know, it's a learning experience for all of us, and every time you try something new, you have a learning curve, and every week we feel like we're learning as we bring these things to you. But the exciting thing is it's Take Home Tuesday, and I have a special guest with me today. He is almost as tall as me, but not quite yet. He has a ways to go. But this is my nephew, Josiah. And Josiah happens to have a couple days off of school, right, Josiah?
Yep.
And so he came up here to spend some time. Now, if you have followed us at all on Hen and Chick Studio, you know that we are quite creative around here. And we also like to inspire everybody in all things creative, not just sewing. But I asked Josiah if he wouldn't mind coming today, because Josiah actually is very involved in a lot of things. But why did you come up to spend time at Grandma's?
Because we have a quill I'm doing for someone special, and it just gets me away from my family. And just...
Truth be told, he's away from his little sister and older
Yes.
brother, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Max and Maddie, now you know why he comes to Grandma's. Now we do come from, I think we're pretty lucky, Josiah, because we have well, I don't know if you think it's lucky or not, but we have a pretty creative family. And
Yes.
so was it last year or 2 years ago, what did you get for your birthday? Was it birthday? From Grandma.
I got a KiwiCo, I think it is.
So it's your own what? What is it?
It's like a creative thing, and
So that was like using the science and the STEM technology stuff, yep. And even better than that, though, as far as long term, that was a cool thing, because it was, if you haven't heard of it, it's like using STEM, which is acronym for science, technology, engineering, and math, that he got that. And so he's very creative that way. But what did you bring with up to Grandma's this time?
a sewing machine.
Yes, Josiah has his own sewing machine. And Josiah, how old are you?
I am 11.
He's 11. 11. And he has his own sewing machine. And have you used your sewing machine?
Yes.
Quite a bit, I would say. Yeah. And what color is your sewing machine?
Black.
So it's black. But we want you guys in our creative community and our Facebook Lives, everywhere to know, again, sewing is one thing. It can be generational. It can be for people of all ages. And how long would you say you've been sewing?
About 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years. And Josiah, actually, you've entered things in the state fair too,
Yes.
haven't you?
Yeah.
So he's entered projects in the open category at the state fair. So he's starting at quite young age. And now sewing isn't your only passion, because you play football.
Baseball, wrestling, this year basketball, and
So he's very active in doing other things besides this, but it's a good creative way. So Josiah came today to help me, and today we have a special project, and he has actually made one of them. Would you say it's hard?
no, it's pretty good.
Pretty easy, pretty good, pretty quick, especially if you have a little bit experience in sewing and stuff. Now, we know that some of you are not experienced sewers that are watching, and that is totally okay. As I told my friend this past Saturday, she said, I'm not a sewer, but I watch. It's okay. I promise you, even if you're not a sewer, you could do these projects, and we would be more than happy to help you. Call the studio, come stop by. We will always help you. And if you've been following us the past few weeks, we have not been doing really sewing projects, so we needed to bring something else sewing back in. So today we are doing these little, they're cute, called Travelin totes. It is a free downloadable pattern on our website, and the neat thing is I think it comes in 5 sizes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different sizes on that free downloadable pattern. And so we have some here, and so this is the small one, this is the mini tote, and we actually have this one already at use here at Hen and Chick Studio, because we are always losing our dry erase markers. So we already have some stuff tucked in it to make sure we have that where it is. But this could be used for a cell phone, maybe some little cars, Matchbox cars. So that's, we're going to show you the different sizes of them. And so then another size we have, this is the small, I think.
Medium.
I can't remember what size. It doesn't matter. You can go to it. And this one, we just actually put toilet paper in, which would be a funny gag gift this year if you wanted something funny to do. But we wanted to show you the ideas that we have. This is our, now, Josiah, you might have to close your eyes to see what we put in this one. Ta-da! Carolyn, that's for you. Okay, so all these things could be used, and as I'm going through this, I want you to be thinking what you could put in these. I mean, it's not limited to what we're showing you. We are, again, are just giving you ideas of how you could use some things, use some of your fabrics or scraps. Now, Josiah, I want you to get that big one, because this one's pretty big. I think you could almost fit in it. So this one we talked about, you could take to a sleepover and put your pillow, your sleeping bag in, or something like that. Also, we mentioned, Heidi and I were talking before, great way to store your quilt. Okay, you could even use some of your scrap fabrics and put your quilt in it, because you really don't want to store your quilts in those plastic containers. So good way. I think we could hide Hattie in here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we could hide his little sister in here too. So this is the large size of it. And then we have two other sizes here. And then we're going to get into showing you how to make it. But we have a couple special things in these ones. So I thought this week I would not use cyclone fabric, because I know you've seen me use cyclones. Well, Josiah came and I let him pick out whatever fabric he wanted in all of Hen and Chick's studio. And guess what fabric you picked? Cyclones. So you get cyclones again today. So Josiah, well, tell us what you put. He made this bag yesterday.
I pretty much just put snacks, little things you could take to the park, drinks for when you're thirsty, another little snack, and then to clean your hands off when you're done playing, hand sanitizer.
Perfect. So Josiah got that all ready, and you sewed this up last night, right?
Yep.
So he got it all
today.
ready. Yes, last night and today. And then in this one, I love this little size. It'd be good for scissors, or maybe not for you, but maybe a little flat iron, curling iron could work if you grew your hair back out or something like that too. But actually, Josiah put in here what he's been working on. And I know we've shown you a lot already, but we just want to show you. So we're going to, is it okay if we open this up?
This is perfect.
Did we do it the right way? Whoop. So this is what Josiah has been working on. And a good way to carry your projects with you too. Like if you're going from one place to another, you could stick it in one of the bags and carry all your pieces and stuff with you at the same time. Okay, so now we've had a lot of show and tell. Now let's get down to the business. Now we got to start showing them how to make this, okay? We have lots of ideas. On our pattern, it's Travelin Totes. It is spelled just like that, available on our website, free downloadable pattern, henandchickstudio.com. It calls for fat quarters. So we just have a little array of fat quarters that you could use. You have a lining. All of these bags are lined, and it is a finished inside as well. So you could pair them up together with things. You could think John Deere green. It's not, I think sometimes people, and part of Josiah, why I think it's really cool that you do this stuff and that you're active in it, is because so many times people think that, oh, only girls can sew.
Yeah.
Well, no. Mm-mm. And Austin can sew. His older cousin, my oldest son, could sew too if he wanted to. But I think it's really important to realize that sewing isn't just for one person, one age, one gender, one anything. It's for anybody and everybody. And these things can all be used according to the fabric choices that you make. And we have another fabric choice that he picked out that we'll show you here in a little bit too. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, all of these instructions are the downloadable patterns on our website. We will upload this video, and then there's also pictures with instructions on our website under Take Home Tuesday as well. So we're going to start, and what we start with in this case is we're starting with the outside and the inside, and I've already cut these to size. Now, one caution, if you do use a pattern like Josiah did, or that this one is that has a top or bottom, you do want to kind of pay attention to how you lay it out and cut it. That's just a tip, not saying I've learned that the hard way before, just maybe, okay? And so our first step is going to be to make the casing. The casing is what the straps are going to go in on the top of your bag. And so I've taken those and I've already folded them. And an iron can be your friend during this, and I know some of it's hard to see, but I've taken the casing and I've just ironed the edge and then put a seam on here so there will be no raw edge exposed as I start building it. Then we come back and iron those half like that. We're then going to place these, and again, I hope you can kind of follow along a little bit. We're going to place these raw edge together 1/4 inch apart from the center. So we want to find the center of our fabric. If it helps you, you could put a little crease in your iron right here on your fabric. So then we would pin those down. And then Josiah, what do we want to do with that piece?
We put it on
Other
here.
way.
I'm sorry.
Yep. We're just going to lay that down and line up the sides together.
Put a seam.
Yep, and then put a seam across the top of it. Right sides together. When we get done with that, we're going to switch color fabrics because this is another one that Josiah picked out. Because why did you pick this one?
Because my dad is in the Air Force.
So he picked out the patriotic. So now I have my seam that we have already sewn on this one, and you can see the casings here. Okay, so then what I would want to do is come back and press, and I have my little iron here. So I come back and press my seam towards the top or towards the outside of the bag, whichever way you want to think of it. And I know, again, we're experimenting with some stuff, so it might be a little tricky to see some of these things, and we'll get better if you stick with us. I promise we'll keep going on these things. So now I've pressed it and I have it nice. Everything's flat, ready to go together. My casings are above the top of my bag or the outside of my bag.
Yes.
This is my lining. From here, super simple. We're just gonna fold it in half. I like to take a pin and make sure I match up the seams right here. So
Yes.
it matches up nicely, don't you think?
Yes.
Okay. And then what are we gonna do next on this, Josiah, do you remember?
Sew around this and leave about a 3-inch hole so you can poke it in later.
Perfect.
Really?
See, he's so good. He doesn't even know what I'm going to ask him. So I told him just roll with it. So then we would go ahead and sew around this, and he is 100% correct, leaving that opening at the bottom of your bag. Okay? So we actually now have 2, because we're going to do this together, that we've had that step. Now, to me, the next step is the trickiest step. And I know, Josiah, since you've made one, did you think this was the next one when we have to do the corners was maybe
Yes.
the hardest part about it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so on our instructions, it's going to show you, I'm going to actually hold it up here for you. This is the picture that it's going to look like. And this is where you can get kind of tricky if you're not careful, and it can be a little intimidating. So I'm going to show you on mine how we do it. So we have our edges all, and we need to take all 4 of these corners and do the same thing.
Yes.
So for me, what I like to do is find that point, take my fabric on either side, and pull it out until I can make that triangle. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? From there, so I've found my point, grab both sides of it, and make a triangle. Now to make it helpful to me, before I mark it, and your pattern will tell you how far down you need to sew, then I like to bring that iron back in and give it a nice press so it's nice and flat, and I make sure everything is smooth, and I'm gonna get a nice seam, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I've actually done that on all the other corners here. So these ones, so now you can see they're sewn across, and I have that triangle, okay? So from here, what do we need to do with those triangles?
We need to cut them, yes.
Yeah. So we need to trim them off. And Josiah, do you think that you can trim that one there across for me real quick?
Yep.
So we need to trim these off because we have this excess fabric that we do not need. So he's gonna go through and we're gonna trim the 4 corners. Again, all 4 corners of this bag need to have this. And why? It puts this nice little, I can't think of the word, at the bottom of it, that's what makes it be able to stand so nicely. And you'll see it, we'll do this one. Oops, I should just let you do it, shouldn't I, instead of getting away. We're not going to turn that one because we're going to come back and finish it. But now we're to the point. So we've sewn, we've made our triangles, we've trimmed our points. Okay, very quick steps that really this takes less than an hour to do. Now we need to turn it inside out. And so we actually have 2 bags here, so you can take that one. And we're simply going to start turning it inside out. And I promise you, when you start doing this, it starts coming together really fast after this.
Yes.
Again, as I'm doing this, I'm sure you can think of things like, off the top of my head, as I was making some of these, I was thinking, wow, gosh, this could be good for graduations. Maybe I could fill it with some, the big bag especially, you could put some laundry, or for going back and forth to college. I don't know if they bring in laundry home.
Yeah.
Josiah and I talked about maybe on one of these that he could put like his headgear for wrestling or something in. So as we get it turned out, and you just keep pulling on yours, I've got mine out. Now we're going to have this long piece, okay? And the opening is on your lining. So this is the inside. So we have that raw edge open. Yep, Josiah has his done. Now you can do it a couple ways. For me, I just prefer to come back and go to the sewing machine and stitch it. If you want to hand stitch it, you can. You don't see it because it's on the inside. I usually come back and just, because that 1/4 inch seam is already there from what we've sewn, come back, same thing, give it a little press, take it to the sewing machine, and then just do a little sew across that, okay? So let's go ahead and iron yours so when you get done, you can finish this up.
Yep.
Josiah, can you think of anything that you might use these for besides, like maybe some at school, or what's some ideas?
Holding some hand sanitizer maybe, or pretty much what they've already shown: pens, pencils, glue sticks, scissors, any other supplies.
Yeah, and we talked about this too. His cousin, my other nephew, if you have any younger kids, Beyblades, he has a collection of Beyblades and they go everywhere. So something just that he could keep them, if he would keep them in something so they would stay organized. So now we've gone back, we've gone back to the sewing machine and sewn. So that's sewn. So now we still have this. Now we need to tuck the inside or the lining down into our bag. And that's just simple. You just tuck it down in there. Well, you're faster than I am, Josiah. Okay, so now we have our bag. And we have 2 different sizes here, so you can see. We have 2 different ideas for you going here. From here, then the same thing. I would go around the top here, give a nice press, and then just seam just underneath the casing all the way around. Now our last step is putting the drawstrings on.
Yes.
Okay, so we have the bag here. And guys, thanks for hanging with us, because we know this project might be a little bit longer than other ones we've done, but I promise you, it is so easy. In less than an hour, you can have this done. And if you have a last minute birthday present for some kid that forgot to tell you that they have a birthday party or something going on, you can whip something up real quick. So now we need to make our strips, our ties for them. And I made this one, and this is very simple. You're basically creating a bias tape, if that's something that you're familiar with. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to iron my strip in half. And we're just going to show you just a real quick thing. Again, a lot of this might seem intuitive to some of you watching, but for some of you watching, you might be like, what in the world? So that's why we kind of show a little bit more of the details on some of these steps, because we want everybody to understand and to know what it is. So I've made a center crease now, and pretend I've gone my whole length, but I haven't. Okay, now what do I need to do, Josiah?
Now you need to fold the little parts in half till they get to the crease on each side.
Yep. So do you think we can hold that and show it?
I don't know.
I don't know if we can either. So what he's talking about is he's folding one raw edge. I don't know if we can do it.
Just
There you
do
go.
one.
He's folding it to the center line there, okay? And now, why do you think we should press this? Should we iron it?
Yes.
Because if we don't,
Then it can go wild and
who knows what we'd end up with, right? So we'd come back and give it a press, and we do this the whole length of our strip. And then the last step on this, what's the last step before we sew this down? What do we need to do next?
Fold it each side together.
Yep, so we fold it each side together so there's no raw edge exposed. And from there, then we just need to go to the sewing machine and
sew all the way down.
zzz, real fast. So we have a couple of them sewn all the way down and that are finished. Now, I use a handy dandy safety pin. Easy to do. Josiah, you're going to work on yours. So now we are putting our tie through the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so Josiah's going to start that one. And again, things that you have laying around. So this pattern calls for fat quarters that you can use, but you could also use yardage. For instance, some of them that I made, like these ones, I used yardage on. So now we're simply just taking our tie and we're threading it through with the safety pin. Now, the important part on this is you have two ties. One needs to go through one direction and tie on one side, and then when you get to the second one, you're going to put it through the opposite way, so you have ties exposed on both sides. That's what gives you that drawstring bag. Again, not very hard to do, it just takes a little bit of time. So, as we're getting this almost completed here, Josiah, why do you think it's a good thing to sew? Or a good skill to have?
Just in case maybe your shirt or something comes undone, or your nice dress or whatever comes undone right before you're going out to your kids' band concert, yeah, or stuff like that, and it's just handy to know.
A good skill.
Yeah.
Yep. And then when you create something, so like when you make something, you pick out your fabric, how does that make you feel?
It's kind of makes me feel artistic or whatever, and it kind of makes you feel good and wanting to do more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's why a lot of people do. And especially now, like, so Josiah is back in school, and they are going to school in person. But when they had some time off, it was a nice thing that maybe you could have something creative to do on the days that you weren't. So I've gotten one, and Josiah's already working on his next side. So I have mine on this side, already strung through. And so then we just simply come back and just tie a knot. Dun-dun-dun. Easier said than done some days when you're talking and trying to do two things at one time, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so now he's working on that second one, and so this is why I'm talking about when it's opposite. So I have this on this end. Now, an idea you could do too is make them longer, so you could use it and strap it over your body. You just need to make your case or your ties longer to put into your casings, that you could strap it over your body. You guys are creative. You can go and create all sorts of things. But what I'm talking about is the second one. I know I want the ties on the opposite side, so I'm just going to come through from the opposite side so my tie is on the other end. So, what do you think, Josiah, about our Take Home Tuesday at 2? Was this a good thing?
Yes.
Did you like coming and helping?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good.
For sure.
His debut. Maybe you want his autograph. You can come. He's only going to be here till tonight, but maybe you'll sign an autograph sometime, right? But Josiah, we hope that always at Take Home Tuesday at 2, we want to inspire people to be creative, whether it's through sewing or bringing a smile to somebody's face or messing up and dropping something or whatever we do. We are glad to be able to, and we hope you guys are enjoying our Take Home Tuesday times. And so, whether or not you want to create these bags, that pattern, once again, is free and downloadable on our website. And Josiah, my special guest today, my nephew, the first outside of Hen and Chick Studio person that we've had on our broadcast. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. I'm glad that he could come and share with you today. Again, he's 11 years old and he has his own sewing machine. So I hope this inspires you today to be creative. Go out, find something that brings a smile to your face. And we will see you. Did you get yours done?
Not
almost.
Yet.
He's almost there. It's okay, just hold it. We're going to draw it. Ready? We'll see you next Tuesday. 1, 2, 3.